Or she can join us and you can have two people fucking and licking you all over.
I would never,
Janice said, mortification now mixed with desire. Oh, you would, and you'd scream, I assured her. It's amazing what a person will do when their desire is at its peak. There are no boundaries because all you can think about is sweet relief, and you'll take it any way you can. I twisted her nipples hard as I said this, and then flipped her around and ripped her soaking shirt off of her. She gasped as her blue eyes shone, desire and confusion mixing in them.
Oh my God!
I didn't give her time to think as I bent down and sucked one perfectly pebbled nipple into my mouth and bit down hard, giving her a mixture of pleasure and pain. She cried out as she spread her thighs and grabbed the back of my head, tugging my hair, holding me in place over her full breasts.
What the hell's going on, guys? Hope you guys are all having a freaking fantastic day, because we're certainly not right now, guys. We are in one of the craziest, most creepiest, scariest places in the entire United States, guys. I know I say this every single time, guys, but we literally just keep topping our previous videos. If you guys thought that we have done the scariest of the scariest,
Number one.
you're wrong, guys, because right now we are currently at a place in the middle.
April 6th, 1986. 9-year-old Antoinette Gallardo and her two younger sisters were at their home in Gallup, New Mexico. Their mother was at a bar with her friends, and the three children were being looked after by a babysitter. In the early hours, their mother returned and sent the babysitter home. She then fell into a deep, alcohol-induced sleep. At 3 a.m., there was a knock at the front door. Both Antoinette and one of her sisters were still awake. Antoinette asked who was there. "Uncle Joe," said a voice on the other side of the door. "Hurry up, let us in, we're cold." Antoinette opened the door. According to her sister, she was immediately grabbed by two men who pulled her into a brown van outside. She kicked and screamed, but could do nothing to stop her abductors. They drove off with her into the night, and for the past 33 years, Antoinette Gallardo has remained a missing person. Her real Uncle Joe was determined not to be involved in any way. 1 year after her kidnap, the Gallup police station received this chilling call.
Gallup Police Department. Hello. I'm Antoinette Gallardo. I'm Antoinette Gallardo in Albuquerque. Okay, whereabouts in Albuquerque? Who said he could use a help? Hello? Antoinette, where are you? Antoinette?
Unfortunately, the call was too short to be traced. When Antoinette's mother listened to the recording, she said that she was sure it was her daughter's voice. It seemed like Antoinette was still alive, though perhaps living a fate worse than death. Her mother didn't recognize the voice of the man who cut the call short. His identity remains unknown. Antoinette's mother died in 1999 without ever discovering what happened to her daughter. The same goes for her father, who died in 2012. Back in 1991, there was one reported sighting of Antoinette, though the validity of that sighting has never been confirmed. A waitress in Carson City, Nevada, noticed a teenage girl that matched Antoinette's description. She was with a quote-unquote unkempt couple and continually knocked her utensils onto the floor. Every time the waitress went to pick up her knife and fork for her, the girl grabbed her hand and squeezed it tightly. After the girl left with the couple, the waitress found a napkin hidden under her plate. On it, the teenager had written 2 messages. "Help me. Call police." There have been no further sightings of anyone matching Antoinette's description. If you think it's strange that a young girl would answer the door at 3 in the morning, then you're not alone. It came to light that numerous people were coming in and out of the Kayadita household on the very night that Antoinette was taken. Antoinette's mother neglected to mention that to the police. It makes you wonder who was there and why the mother didn't tell them. It appears that the mother may have had more information about her daughter's disappearance than she let on. She even failed a police lie detector test. It's also telling that the cops paid Antoinette's mother one last visit on her deathbed. Were they perhaps hoping that she might confess something or reveal some information before she passed away? One other important thing to note is that the Kayadito household had a screen door. This suggests that Antoinette may have recognized her abductors. If she didn't, why would she have unlatched the screen? Regardless, investigators believe that Antoinette is no longer alive. They have, however, released this image showing what she might have looked like in 2013. Interestingly, 10 months ago, a Reddit user by the name of Sleuthing Noob came across a Jane Doe file, a police report about an unknown murder victim. The report said that in 1996, a body had been discovered in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Take a look at this description and these reconstruction images. They're eerily similar to Antoinette's 2013 reconstruction. The user contacted the Albuquerque Police Department, but according to NamUs, the U.S. Resource Center for Missing and Unidentified People, it's been determined that this Jane Doe is not in fact Antoinette. Still, it just goes to show that even after 33 years, people are still actively trying to solve this mystery. Perhaps one day we'll know the truth about what happened to Antoinette. Number 2. Being a police dispatcher can be a tough job emotionally, something that many new operators find out during their training. Learning how to handle distress calls involves listening to a bunch of them, and some, like the one you're about to hear, are harder to sit through than others. This call was made by a woman named Ruth Price and has been used in the training of new dispatchers since the 1980s. Many dispatchers say this is the most disturbing call they've ever heard.
What's the problem, ma'am? Oh, there's some guy been checking the place out. How? Well, he went in the back. I have an apartment in the back, and he said he was looking for a guy. And he comes to my door, and yeah, and said he's looking for an apartment. So I live alone, and I'm an old lady. Mm-hmm. Where is he now, ma'am? I don't have no idea.
Let your neck stay froze. Rather have a handful of some Oreos. You really can't lose with some macaroons.
Despite being so prolifically used in dispatcher training, very little information exists about the call. The call is always presented to trainees as 100% authentic. Recruits are always told the backstory to the case, and they're always told that Ruth did not survive the attack. Despite this, pretty much no information about Ruth's case exists online. It supposedly happened before the days of the internet, but you'd think that there'd at least be something out there about it. As one former dispatcher writes,
"In the early 1990s, I worked as a 911 dispatcher in Florida. This call was played for us as part of a training exercise, as an example of why it's so critical to ask for a caller's address before asking anything else. As a result of similar incidents, it's been policy across various police departments to state, 911, what's your location? What little information there is matches up with what I was told in the early 90s. The call was made in 1988. The caller was an elderly woman named Ruth Price. She was killed by a prowler, and the prowler was not apprehended. I'm so frustrated by the lack of any credible information about this call.
Because of the lack of information about the case, it remains a mystery whether this call is genuine or just an amazing piece of voice acting. Another former dispatcher is more certain that the call is real.
Although there were rumors that this was fake when it first came out, sadly, the recording is 100% real. The recording is used in police training on what not to do during a 911 call, and why you should always get the location or address first. Because of the 911 operator not getting that info and not really taking her seriously, the cops never got out there in time, and the killer was never caught. There's little info out there on Google, as this happened way back in the 80s, before the internet or Google existed, but there was a thread posted about it on a police forum back in 2002. I'll try to find it and link it, but from what I remember, I'm pretty sure she was beaten or bludgeoned to death.
If you scour some online forums, you'll still find people debating whether this call's real or fake. Whatever the case though, the prospect of receiving a call like this is enough to put anyone off becoming a police dispatcher. That much I'm sure of.
Hey, editor, take this off. I don't want to see this no more. I don't want to see this crap. I don't want to see this no more. Hey.
Number 3.
Hey,
July
editor, you gotta take this off.
1974. A man named Bashir Kaljakchi went to pick up his wife from a party in
Take
Beirut.
this off. I don't want to see this.
His wife was a
I
singer.
don't want...
The venue that she was singing at was known to be a gathering spot for Middle East diplomats and arms dealers.
None of this again on YouTube.
While en route to pick her up, a white van drove Bashir off the road.
Are you even hearing me?
Several armed men came out and forced Bashir into the van with them. He had just been abducted, and he had no idea.
That's it. That's it. That... What else should we do? Let's play some Roblox. Thank you, editor, for doing that.
We gon' rock this thing till the morning through the night. Come on, milk, cookies, soda, chips. Milk, cookies, soda, chips. Milk, cookies, soda, chips. Let me get a bag so these bitches stay crisp. Milk, cookies, soda, chips. Milk, cookies, soda, chips. Milk, cookies, soda, chips. I keep them in the bag so these bitches stay crisp. I need to slow down. These cookies $1 each, but I don't give a damn 'cause they're gooder than a bitch. Ha, I like to eat them while they crisp. They a little sweet, so hand me a bag of chips. Man, I don't like this kind. All this damn salt, rather eat pork rinds. I know it's the truth 'cause I read it online. I would order pizza, but they never on time. Yo, now I'm thirsty as hell. Let me get some soda or maybe a glass of milk. Is this serious? What you trying to say? I know I gain weight, but I work out every day. Anyway, I drink what I please. I don't give a damn about them calories. I make cookies rain, something similar with cheese. I put it in the fridge. Can I get another
I quit this job. Yeah, I don't quit. Everybody get you. I still gotta tell you something. What you want, man? Or boy, whatever your name is. Okay, that'll be $55. Give me it right now. Hey, where you going? Hey, Where's the money at? You know what? I'm about to go get a crowbar and hit you with it. And I'm telling my manager, get out of here. I'm about to put this key up your face. You see this key? I'm about to put it in your nose. I'm about to sniff it. Yeah, where's my manager? Anybody working? a dump. Come on, man, let's take it to a dump store. I'm gonna dump you. Hello? Hello, Mr. Dump. Welcome, how may I help you? This got two for you. So down, huh? Mr. Dump. Okay, you guys, that's gonna be the end of the video. See you in the next video. Oh, and make sure you subscribe and give a like. Peace.